last week on the Bachelor Party. Okay. So that was just hopefully that worked. Just a little recap of what we talked about last week. Here we are with episode 2, and we are right into the drama. This is why I think I prefer the Bachelorette to the Bachelor, just because you get all this testosterone and all these hardos who think they're awesome, and they all start acting like little bitches when they get in a house together. So.
It's like with girls, you expect drama. Like you always think like it's just gonna be a shit show. Everybody's gonna be really weird. With the Bachelorette, you're going in and you don't really know the kind of group of guys you'll get. Usually, you just get the guys who are kind of weird, but like at the same time, like they're willing to do everything. They're gonna go along with all the games. There's not gonna be that much, except maybe a couple guys hate each other. But yeah, you're right. Like now, there's so many things that are pent up right now. It's just awesome.
It's just, I mean, the difference between the girl drama, and I don't want to sound sexist, but like, it's not really like they just make each other cry, and they say they're really passive aggressive to all that shit. With these guys, they think, oh, like I'm gonna beat everyone's ass if they don't like play by the rules. Like, just shut the fuck up. But all right. First group date on this week was the fireman thing. I was a little disappointed that JoJo wasn't in the burning limo that pulled up. What do you got? What do you think of the fire date in general?
First of all, it would have been the ultimate curveball if they showed up and it was just JoJo dead. Like, you know how like there was a theory for a while that J.J. Abrams wanted to do when he did the show Lost. He wanted to take the lead character and have him die like in the first like 3 episodes, because then it was just like, oh, who's the actual like lead character now? That would have been the best way for the Bachelorette to really begin the season, and it would have solved a lot of our problems too from last week.
There's that one season a year or two ago where
the skydiver, right?
Die, so maybe step up the season deaths. Everyone loves Game of Thrones. We talked about Lost, Sopranos, all that shit. They got good deaths in it, you know.
If somebody dies, people are gonna watch it more. It's just how it is. That's reality TV. If you know someone's gonna die, you want to at least see their final moments on the show.
I don't want to know.
Ratings just go up.
I want to be scared that they will. Like every time on Game of Thrones, if I see a character, I'm thinking like, oh shit, this is it. I don't really feel that on The Bachelorette, so I need that in a show that I really want. I think that it was actually a pretty cool date. I think that was bullshit, and it would have sucked, but as much as I hate JoJo, she did look very good in the fireman's outfit and all that shit. When she came up, and then they all started making like the jokes like, oh, she can hold my hose, and like,
yeah,
the car wasn't the only thing that was on fire because she looked so hot. That was fucking ridiculous. But at the same time, like once I started thinking about how much I hated it, I realized that like that's my humor exactly, and I would just make fire puns the whole time. I just think I'd do a little bit better job than.
You would almost take timeouts from the challenge just so you could have one-on-one with the camera and be like, I got a new fireman pun. Like, I want to see how this one goes.
This is what I would tweet right now or say in a podcast with Kyle. Now, let's see.
Like I like the Bachelorette challenges because like there's actual competition. When it comes to the Bachelor, there's always like those couple of girls who are actually athletic, the girls who are ditzy, and the girls who don't try. So when they do have these challenges where all of a sudden everybody's racing towards something, it's not that exciting. I don't want to be sexist, but it's just not that exciting. They're like, there's so many other things that could like work well in competitions. Where this one, you had so many different elements, and you did almost have somebody die. Wells was dying on the scene because he's a radio DJ. Radio DJs don't get out and do physical activity that much.
Let's talk about Wells because he was a big part of that date. He ended up getting the rose, he got the rose on it. Mm-hmm. I like the way he handled himself. He came off looking like a big pussy. But that's exactly how it would have been, just self-deprecating, making jokes about it, trying to ease out of the situation and turn it into a positive, and that's what he ended up doing. However, I'm a little scared because I like Wells a lot. He's going to fall into the friend zone like Jared did last year. He was smaller than the rest of them, and he ended up making it a long way, but she just couldn't really see a relationship with him because he's not as attractive as the other one. So I think Wells will be in it for the long haul, but I don't think she's not going to be attracted to him.
Wells needs to have that emotional connection just like happen. He has to seize this opportunity because he knows she is paying attention. So he almost has to like pull out a dead dad, a dead parent card. Like you need that right now. Like, I'm coming from a guy who has a dead parent card constantly in his back pocket. You got to know the right time. You got to know the right time to play it. And if he plays it too early, it could really backfire. But if you have a fireman's challenge where you almost die, you could be like, death is a pretty serious subject for me. And bam! You got that emotional connection before a lot of other people. You're looking a lot better, and that rose isn't just going to be for this week. It's going to be for a while because she's also going to kind of feel bad because you just opened up about a dead parent.
We'll get more of the dead parents later on. I did want to touch on dead parents this episode, but yeah. Then we got Grant is a firefighter, almost didn't win the challenge. Luke, military guy, but like how you can't go back, like, one, you shouldn't be able to go back to your job as a firefighter after being on The Bachelor as is. Just like, so you're just going to give up on saving lives so you can go on this fucking vacation to fall in love?
Yeah, you know what's not taking a vacation? The fires.
I couldn't just be like in the middle of like teaching, just be like, here's my sub plans for 1 week to 3 months because I'm just going to go on some fucking reality show. But, and I definitely would be fired by the time I got back from it. But if you lose the fireman challenge, that's not a good look. So I'm glad he won it. He's okay. I don't hate him.
Was he? Is it him who it seems like he's going to get into a fight next episode?
I have no idea.
He might be one of the people who, and we'll talk about our main man Chad in a moment, but like he looks like one of the people that might be going after him. It's either, I think it might be Christian, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Oh, you're racist.
Dang
it. The light-skinned black guy, huh?
Dang it. I walked right into that one.
That's perfect. JoJo's racist, too. You know that, like, one, how about them sending Wells on, like, the final 3 after he couldn't even do, like, the basic training? Like, just like, let's poke fun at this motherfucker who was about to die again, like, because he was...
Can you imagine being in that first date and like knowing, okay, I'm not the military guy, I'm not the firefighter, but I'm actually doing pretty well at these challenges, and then they just give it to the guy who literally had to like bow out because he was dehydrated. It's like, fuck, man. Like I was at least could like make it through. I'm actually in good shape. Like Wells, all power to him. He's a DJ, so I respect the work he does, even though I've never heard him, but I know what he does. And it just seems like he is going to get friend zoned so hard. He's going to be like what Ben was when he got like left out on the rocks.
Well, you can see it when what the fuck? Oh, when she when they said like, "Oh, Wells, you're going to be in the top 3 too because they're never giving up." She was just like, "Wells, are you okay? Like, don't fucking do it." It kind of reminded me of the Aggro Crag in Global Guts, that final challenge. One more thing about the fireman date. Right before it got started, she just, out of nowhere, just a little JoJo complaint. Trust is a big deal to me. I'm really excited to see all the fire guys, like, in their outfits. It's going to be a really hot date. What the fuck does trust have to do with anything in that date? Unless he, like, went to the other building to, like, save, like, another bitch first, or, like, a cat in a tree. Like, how does that have to do with trust? I get protection, but you know what?
Yeah, like you want to trust that the person you're gonna be with isn't gonna leave you in a fiery building. However, I'm gonna guess like 95% of guys wouldn't leave you in a fiery building, and a lot of them are on the show.
Probably they should be on her own. She should be on her own to get out of it, especially if she talks about how guy she is. Okay, we'll get out of this fire because there's no way I'm saving 2 people. I'd be lucky to save myself. Whatever. Just leave you there, but I don't know. I probably wouldn't do too well.
Like if there's a dog, I'm saving a dog, and
yes.
if there's a girl, I'm going to try to save the girl. But like, we try our best.
If you by calling the cops.
Yeah, Yeah.
And then fucking Grant will come in and save you.
Yeah.
All right. While that was going on, the boys back at home, you start to see Chad coming out as someone who's not going to fuck around with all the boys. I don't see any problem with what he was saying. They wrote that gay-ass song, and then they were so happy about it, they were like, yeah, bro, we fucking crushed it. It was just like, Joe, 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 Joe. And that's a little performance that you guys got to see for watching the Bachelor Party. That's good for you guys. But what the fuck? Why? Oh, look. I know it's James Taylor's idea, but why is he like, oh, James, a song for her that we're never going to sing to her?
I didn't get it. Like, I thought it was just James Taylor being James Taylor. I'm cutting in and out.
I hope that it froze like that for the camera. It was pretty funny.
It was just James Taylor being James Taylor, and he was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna wail." I thought it was just him playing on his guitar, and everybody just saying JoJo's name until they stopped. And you're right, they all just started high-fiving and being like, "Yeah, like we did that really well." And then Chad's like, "This is kind of weird, don't you think?" And everyone's like, "You're being such a dick that you weren't singing the song with it." Like, that's weird to do. Like, if my girlfriend came up and was like, "Can you write me a song and choreograph it with a bunch of dudes?" No, because I'm not comfortable doing that. I think it's a little weird, especially if it's a week in. I know you will do it, but it's because like you're a very good singer. We just witnessed here on the show. So I'm not.
I've been gone this weekend in karaoke, by the way. But all right. The thing about that is, I have made a One Direction music video where after we filmed it, we gave each other a group hug. So hard to.
Wait, you guys are close friends though, right? Like you guys aren't just people that you met the past week. You're not singing a song about a girl that you literally just met, like.
Okay, one other thing though about that, I think that he has a point. Chad's got a point, but it kind of seems like he's trying to develop his shtick that he's thought of the whole time. Like, I'm gonna be honest about, like, I'm gonna try not to pretend like I like this girl a lot, like, so that he can keep on using that the whole time. I think that's been his plan since the beginning. I don't really trust in what he's doing there. I think he knows what he's doing. Like, it's a plan. You're like, hey, I'm gonna be real with you. So he's going out of his way to be like, oh, you're writing this for a girl you just met. I think it's kind of weird for a group of 8 guys to write a song for any girl, whether or not it's the end of the season or the beginning of the season.
I agree.
One-on-one, Derek. What'd you think of Derek?
You know what? I mean, Derek wasn't on my radar before, I guess, this episode. So, like, when he comes up on a one-on-one, you think, like, it would be kind of funny if her first one-on-one, she just gets rid of the guy. But, you know, I liked him. I thought he was seems like a pretty chill dude. I mean, there wasn't really anything that, like, made me all of a sudden put Derek in the top 3.
Actually, I know I said that he's still not on my radar. I might have him in my top 3. I liked him a lot. He's a little bit boring, but that could just be out of shyness, just beginning of the season, or just being on national television. Gotta take his man card. He let JoJo drive on the date. If that happens, it's the only time that's acceptable. Don't be offended if Haley drives or your girlfriend drives. I'm sorry. We'll cut that.
Yeah. It's not making the air.
The only time that's acceptable is if she's picking up you and your friends drunk from the bar and it's your DD. Don't let the girl drive.
No, yeah. I mean, I drive. I probably drive 99% of the time, and the only 1% is if hypothetically I have a little bit too much to drink and she doesn't, so we can at least be, responsible in that aspect. But yeah, you drive. I don't care if it's called The Bachelorette. You step into the driver's seat. You take control of the date.
He was. Yeah, definitely. He was a little boring. I thought the date was cool. The choices and shit. I thought it was a little. He should have gone south, so that they would have done a little bit more ocean, I think. But the making decisions, I think that was actually one of the cooler one-on-one dates for the first time. Usually in these weeks, it's just let's go with these people that are going to be in an ABC comedy pretty soon, and that's kind of what they did with the Sports Nation date. But we'll get there. His kiss was weak. Their kiss together not a good kiss, not as romantic. Her ones on that first date, like the night of the fire date,
Yeah.
very sexual. And she was hammered. She was hammered. If you go back, like she's kind of like slurring her words and just like acting like a drunk girl. That's one of the first times like I kind of like JoJo in this episode. I like the way she was acting, but like she was like having sex with Luke on the balcony.
Oh yeah.
The army guy, like they were.
Luke was also. I mean, like Luke was taking, and she probably had to be there for him because Luke was taking a loss to a firefighter harder than anything in the world. That's like somebody being like mad, like if they were just an everyday person, they went up and they struck out against somebody who's a major league pitcher. They're like, I can't believe I didn't win that. Like, well, you're not going to. That guy trains for that every day, but you were close. At least you were in the final three. At least you weren't a pity vote like Wells.
At least you got to have sex with her on time.
Yes. That always helps.
And the kiss with Derek on the one-on-one, not great. Another thing, and I want to bring this up later. Second time she brought up exes in the episode, not the third. She keeps bringing up, oh, what are your past relationships like? I want to love like Lauren and Ben. Ben told me he loved me, and then he didn't pick me. Like, that got brought up so many times for the second episode of your own season. Cut that shit out. We know what happened to you. We know what got you here. You're just, if I was on that date, I would have been like, oh, well, fuck you. I don't like talking about exes with people. I just don't. I don't want to hear about your ex. I'll listen to you if it's something that's important, but I'm not gonna be like, so what was your ex like? You know, like how?
Yeah, like I get the whole point of the show. You're trying to meet somebody quick, and like you're trying to develop feelings. You're trying to get to know them. But if you are on the second date already just being like, I want to talk about my ex, that's a major red flag. Like, that's just uncomfortable. It's like, even if you are on this dating reality show, you shouldn't be throwing out exes because there are so many other things in the dating world that can eliminate somebody in terms of personality, how they act around other people, how they act in front of you. Like, there's so many other reasons to bring them down and not to be like, so tell me about your ex. Now, if somebody brings up their exes, that's an even bigger red flag for me. But if you're asking about it, that's going to be uncomfortable.
That's what the only problem is. I actually don't have a problem with her asking, like, oh, what was like past relationships like? That happens every season on this. But no one has ever just been like, oh, talk about, I'm just waiting for you to say that you put your walls up so that I can immediately just go and make it all about me and Ben, which is exactly what she did. And it was really weird. And wasn't her whole thing too none of these guys are as good as him. Not a single one on the cast. So she's fucked.
But wasn't her whole thing last year too like, hey, like I put my walls up, I can't open up, and now she's like expecting that shit. Like, that's not fair.
No, she's not expecting it. But like, fuck her. Like, that was just a cliche that everyone uses. Oh, I put my walls up and that's why I'm still single. No, you just pick really shitty people and you're a bitch. Derek got the rose though, so he's moving on. While that's going on, back at home, my favorite part of the episode, I think, are two villains. Daniel from last week, big fan of Daniel.
Huge fan.
Last time I pulled a hose, I was jacking off at home in my apartment. I love that quote. Didn't make a lot of appearances this time, but Chad and him have somehow made friends just because Chad knows that he's a fucking joke, so why not talk to somebody so that you can be on TV or get some screen time. He makes one of my favorite analogies that I've ever heard when talking about how shitty all the other guys are. It's like you take a protein shake and you make a protein out of all the other guys' proteins and you shake it up. What are you going to get? You're going to get like some protein. I didn't know where the fuck he was going with it, but I loved it. And really, if you think about this podcast, like, how shitty of a protein shake would we make?
Yeah, I have no idea how to. I just know, like, there's a scoop. Sometimes you put milk, some people put water, and you do shake it up.
Yeah, I don't think you make it from like 20 dudes. I don't think that's how it goes. I don't think it's like dried up cum, like the powder. I don't know what's going on with it. I have no idea. Like, what does that analogy even mean?
It's almost like Chad wanted to point out that he drinks protein shakes, and he's like, I don't know if you guys know about protein shakes, but I've ingested a few in my days, and well, if you take a bunch of proteins, it's not gonna work. Like, it's a try hard mood, but then it just kind of progresses him into talking about working out and being the strongest guy there.
100%. That's 100% what he was doing. But then he got there and he was just like, wait, where the fuck was I going with this? Like, he should have just ended with it. Oh, I work out more than these guys. And I don't know what the fuck he did.
Or just started pounding out some push-ups.
He talked about protein shakes when he was eating all the meat at the fucking. That was weird. Just eating everything. Let's just not go into chat, but we might as well take down that part yet. He was just eating everything.
We talk about
the bachelor party for like he was in the bachelor house for like as much time as he can. He's gonna eat as much as he can while he's there. Like, oh, this is all free. Give me all this shit. He's like one of the drinkers that was drinking too much, but they were showing it, just him like shoving lunch meat in his mouth.
Exactly. It's like how we talk about like people need to take advantage of the open bar. Like, there's free food that's going to go to waste, and all the other guys are standing around gossiping, and he is literally at the table whistling and eating by himself. Definitely another power move that kind of makes me like Chad even more.
Was it this week or just like a preview for the season where he just goes up on like the posts and is doing like pull-ups in front of everyone with the suitcase in between his legs?
I think that's a preview, but I know what you're talking about. And again, power moves.
Like, I like it. Look at me doing. Sometimes you just get the urge to rip up some pull-ups, and your body doesn't weigh enough, so you got to cram a suitcase in between your legs.
If there's a suitcase there, you can't just leave it on the ground. It could be stolen.
That's just a bunch of dudes, or reported as terrorism.
Yeah.
On whatever luggage. All right, third date. Third group date. 3 people just not going on the first group dates.
Yeah, but like that's also a power move because they're just like there's usually in that sign there's usually a good sign that they're gonna stay for some reason.
One of the 3 got sent home and the other one only stayed because he pulled a good move, which we'll talk about. But I like, once again, Chad's just like, well, you're gonna fucking see her again. You can't wait 2 days. You wait your whole life. Once again, trying to bring up, oh, we don't know this girl that well. But yes, that would be shitty to get a fucking date. You're not gonna date in the first one, not even get a chance. Like, why'd you even keep me here through this week? Why didn't you just send me home the first night? Mm-hmm. Sports Nation, they went to ESPN. Another JoJo complaint from me. Once again, it's going to sound misogynist, but oh my God, I love sports. I just love sports so much. I grew up watching ESPN. Fuck out of my face. No, you didn't.
She said last season when she was in Wrigley Field, she said Ben was the best-looking baseball player she'd ever seen, which is the biggest load of shit I've ever. If you've ever seen a picture of Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, then that's just irrelevant. I'm sorry, I like Ben, but Chris Bryant's the better looking of them. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She probably watched 2 episodes of SportsCenter, and it was because her ex-boyfriend passed out and that she couldn't find the remote.
I don't care that she doesn't like sports. That doesn't change my opinion on her. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, she's a huge baseball fan. Like, I'm in love with her. I'm not gonna be like, oh my God, she's a huge baseball fan. I don't like her. Like, don't act like you love something if you don't. I know a lot of girls that like sports. I know a lot of girls that are fans of teams, actually fans. I have like one girlfriend or like friend that's a girl that I like talk sports with. That's it, one. So, I just don't see why everyone feels the need to like impress guys and be like, this is how much I like sports, if they don't really know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah. I'm not saying know your place or anything, but you don't have to go head over heels. That team example. Like, if you love one team, you can talk about that team. You can go and talk to me about that team, or we'll have conversation. But don't don't start talking out your ass because how
many people are just like, oh, I'm a huge Cubs fan. Chris Bryant's so hot. Anthony Rizzo's so
everybody.
Well, that's guys and girls, but
yeah,
that's their main input. I don't know. Well, I don't want to.
No, but I get what you're saying, and if somebody, and that's how you can usually tell if somebody, much to the JoJo point, that's how you can usually tell if somebody's like a fan or if somebody just kind of has watched the team. Like if somebody is randomly just being like, oh, I don't like this person, even though the person has had like great games leading up to this, or is having just a bad couple games and has a great like career. Like that's how I'm like, oh, so like you just started watching the team recently, or like
to me, if a girl can be like, oh, I'm a White Sox fan, I'm not really that into it, or like I'm a Blackhawks fan, but I don't know that much about hockey, and can admit to it, to me that's way better than saying how much you like something and then not. And I don't know. I'm a little different because sports ruined my life, and I don't want that for other people. So I kind of don't want the girl to be that big of a diehard. Hate Sports Nation. That's like my least favorite show. I hate ESPN. I despise Sports Nation. I think those guys are not funny at all, and I don't think they were funny at all during this. The segment was brutal, just awful. Strike a Rose, where they had to do their little fucking dance, and then they did Dizzy Bat with the proposal, which just don't add up. Just an awful segment, but it was made good by all the drama. I want to talk a little shit about Jordan Rodgers.
Yeah.
I'd like more. I'm a huge Packer fan, and I love Aaron Rodgers for what he does on the field. Hate him off the field. Think he might be gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm on a podcast talking about The Bachelor right now. But that little touchdown dance he did was such an Aaron Rodgers move, where he like thought it was the coolest thing ever and really funny. He took it real seriously. His face was real serious, and then like did his size like, oh, like I fucked up my knee, but like crushed that like cowboy dance. I don't know what the fuck he was doing. It was pathetic, and it made him look like such a dweeb. It dropped him on my power rankings. It made me not like him, to be honest. I couldn't stand it. It had too much Aaron Rodgers in it.
Honestly, that whole thing, like you're right. Like it was like, okay, well, how can we get these guys to compete? Well, like I actually didn't mind the press conference because there was like something you could do like that. That makes sense. The strike, the Dizzy Bat thing, that was just dumb. And yeah, it's just like, hey, let's be physical and let's try to get you guys to be emotional too. And then, yeah, okay, why don't you guys dance now? And literally everybody just like went above and beyond doing these weird dances. And that's why I respected Chad in this one for the most part, being like, this is kind of dumb. And I felt like a lot of the guys at first weren't mad because he was calling it dumb. I think they were just mad that they did it. And they all look like idiots, and they're like, fuck, like this guy's like making us look like losers that we went and did all this goofy shit, and now we have to like, you gotta be like, oh fuck, like no, this is cool, like look at what we did, and shit like that.
I hate that he threw them all under the bus and was like, you guys didn't even mean anything you said, you all just lied to her. No, that's what you do on the thing. You try to have fun with the date. If all 5 of them, or however many it was, went up and were like, oh, well, I don't know, maybe I'll marry you, I don't really know you yet. What if all 5 of them were honest like that? Would that be fucking cool? Would that work? No, fuck you, Chad. However, I do understand, like, you don't have to pretend to be in love with someone. I kind of like the move. She's going to like it because he's a bad boy, and she's into that. That's another complaint. For me, and I like Chad, I think he's great entertainment. I don't want him to win. For me, do you want to wait and talk about this after the date?
No, I mean we could talk about it now. I felt like that was the whole point of the date was Chad.
Yeah, Chad. So for me, I'm okay with him being a dick. I don't think that you should go on the show to make friends. I think you should go on the show for the girl, and you're not going to do that by sucking all the other guys' dicks and writing songs. But I think it's a red flag, and it's the same with girls. Girls that don't get along with other girls, no thanks. You got to be able to have girlfriends. You got to be able to interact with them, because that's a bad sign. Guys, especially this way, guys that cannot get along with other guys that other guys don't like, talk shit about, get angry about, that is not a good sign. That's why Nick, a couple years ago, I hated that everyone went nuts about like him and only cared about him, but it's not a good sign if you can't sit in a room with guys and laugh and have a good time.
No, absolutely.
Competition. You got to be able to make them laugh. You got to be able to laugh with them and get along with somebody. And if he can't fucking do that, then JoJo better be able to see that and be like, no, fuck that. But if she's just like, oh my god, everyone's teaming up on him during these press conferences, like she said, for some fucking reason, it's not.
It's coming down to like yes, this is a competition, and yes, you have to take this serious because it could be the rest of your life. But like at the same time, don't be an asshole to everybody. And like I like that Chad did it because I just like usually I'm against it. I hate when people are like just dicks on this show for no reason. But I was like, fine, fuck it. Like I was getting sick of all these guys doing the kumbaya, singing, high-fiving. I was getting really sick of just James Taylor. I like James Taylor. I bet he's a strong competitor, but he's not the real James Taylor, and it just keeps going out of the way to bust out his guitar. No, by the way, he's not the real James Taylor.
That's what guitar guys do, though, man. If you're a guitar guy, you're bringing your guitar everywhere, and you're going to bust it out.
But can I talk about something I didn't like about JoJo in this whole thing though? When she is like you kind of brought it up though, like when Chad's just a huge dick. Like we don't have to do like this is dumb basically, and then she's like, I'm glad you're honest. Like fuck you. And like at least like this is your life too. Like you knew the ABC people came up to you and said like this is what we're gonna do. Do you like this idea? And I'm sure she was like, yeah, that sounds like fun, and did it. And then this guy's like, oh, like this sucks. And then she's like, yeah, it does suck, right? Like it's so infuriating to watch. Like don't sign with him after you talk about like I want guys to open up with me and I want to find love when this guy's just being a dick to you. Like, oh god, fucking hate JoJo.
Absolutely. Cocktail hour. Oh, James Taylor got the fucking date. I don't know the rose. I don't know why he said something really cool to her about the smiles. The only thing on the inside that can come out and be shown on the outside. Love that. That's not true though with genetics and everything. That's all on the inside of you and that. You
should get that tattooed right here on your arm, actually. It's right there.
I'm going to get a tattooed on my heart. No, my smile. Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, do one of those, like, under the lip tattoos.
Yes. So, cocktail hour. More Chad. We touched on it. I want to talk about my least favorite person. It's that little short fuck.
Alex?
I gotta stick with Alex, with short fucks. I gotta stick with them because I'm short, and I hate when girls are just like, I only like tall guys. Doesn't matter now because I have a girlfriend, no big deal. But I just hate that. Like, you can't control that shit. Should stick with him, can't do it. He seems like he might be a nice guy. He's obsessed with Chad. He couldn't enjoy that date. He was like, this rose is fucking cursed now because Chad got one. No, it's not. Fuck you. Like, yeah. I never hated a character more besides JoJo, so that's a lie.
But that's what Sean did with Nick. He was getting so frustrated with it.
I couldn't stand Sean because of it. It was just like, you're there for her, and he even had the nerve to be like, this is about JoJo, and he's not here for JoJo. And like it's supposed to be all about JoJo. You're the one that's making it about Chad.
Yeah.
Here's a shit if he walked outside and met her on her way into the cocktail party, because guess what happens 10 seconds in the cocktail party? Someone says, can I steal you? And gets more time than he got. I got no problem with what he did. It's the same thing as just being the first person to say, hey, can we talk? The guys like going over and confronting him was hysterical because they're just like, so what was that about, man? And he's just like, I don't know, just getting air. And he's like, well, what'd you need some fucking air for? And like they're just like kind of half confronting him. I think Chad even said that they're like kind of confronting me, and he said he felt like they were like West Side Story. I love Chad in the cocktail hour. I thought he was excellent.
It's just like you brought it up. Like people are way too consumed with Chad right now. So and he finds it hysterical, which it makes people more frustrated, and it's so fun to watch from the outside. But if you know you're in that situation where you're frustrated with somebody, and then they're laughing at you for being frustrated, so you just get more frustrated. That's all that's happening right now. So all these guys are just like psyched out. Like I can't believe Chad's being this honest.
I can't believe Chad's eating things. What the fuck are you talking about? That's a lot of food for one man. Like, he should slow down. What the fuck do you care? The only problem.
Plus, it is such a big house that like these guys can be doing other things. Like they could be in other rooms. They don't have to be looking at Chad the whole time or near him, or they could walk away. But nobody takes that approach.
The only problem I got with Chad with all this is every time someone confronts him or whatever, he gets like violent. He
Oh
said
yeah.
his teeth out. That's not good. All the rest of the stuff I'm fine. Like I understand that's how you play the game. Once you start getting violent and they show it on next week, he's not gonna stay around. Like they're gonna. It's not gonna happen. One other thing from the cocktail party.
You okay?
No. Chase. He was one of the ones who didn't get the date. He made it snow on her, but I thought it was a good move. Like, hey, I couldn't get a date with you. I wanted to make sure I got a date time, and that's why he's still around instead of getting sent home. I like that, and it
However,
up in my book.
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Frozen. It's Disney made it, actually.
It's Elsa.
Yeah, Elsa is an ice queen. She makes it snow and almost ruins an entire city. So good and the bad with Chase on that one.
Also, I don't know how he did it, but I like that he pulled her aside to say like, "Oh, we didn't get a date." I thought that was a strong move. Right for RIP in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. in peace. Yep.
We got I don't even know their fucking names. We got James, who was the Bachelor fan. He's gone. Didn't get a date.
I feel like they'll bring him back in some sort of like he'll help out with the show or something in some way.
Yeah, he didn't need to be there. The extra guy, Jordan or some shit. I don't even know his name. John.
It was Brandon, right?
Brandon, that's what it was. He brought nothing, except he did bring in a date card. That's literally all he brought to the show. And then Will.
Couldn't recover after that awkward kiss.
The first day, yeah. So RIP and peace to them. Scenes for next week. 2 episodes. I don't know what we're going to do about this podcast.
We'll have to figure it out. We'll discuss some things behind the scenes.
But it's just going to be, and they said 2 more episodes of The Bachelorette and 2 more episodes of Chad, which means he's not going to win because they're not going to make fun of how dramatic the winner is, like right in front of, like in the second week. And he's going to punch a door and maybe a person. So he's going to get sent home next week. Whether it's episode 1 or 2, he will not get through next week. So everyone who hates Chad right now, don't. Because this season is going to be a complete snooze fest. Like, I might not even want to watch it. After Chad's gone, he's the last interesting person in this cast. Enjoy while you can. Just know that he's not going to win, so you don't have to worry like, oh my God, I can't believe Chojo is going to choose him, because he's not going to win. It's not going to happen. The producers won't let that happen. So just enjoy the entertainment, sit back, and that's all I got from next week. You notice anything?
I mean, it's gonna be one of those cliffhangers where like he's gonna get into a confrontation with somebody, and then they're gonna do like a fade to black, like oh my God, what happened? And then it's gonna be to be continued. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, he's gone. I don't know who he gets into a fight with because literally the promo for him this week and even last week's Look Ahead had him fighting literally everybody on the show, including Boner Dr. Evan, which, like, why is anyone fighting that dude? Like, all you got to just be like, it's almost one of those, like, you're too easy, like, dude, stop. But like, so yeah, that's all that's gonna happen is he's gonna get into a fight. It's gonna be the best moment of the season, which kind of sucks that it's happening way too early. There's nobody that you can really see that's gonna kind of break through. The only thing that we can really hope for is that Daniel continues to advance.
No, he'll be gone too. With Evan, all you gotta do is chase him around the mulberry bush, and then there's a weasel. Nice joke. Joke on my
got it.
Podcast so far. Power rankings. Who's your top 3?
Top 3. I think you gotta still stick with Jordan on this one. I would probably go. God, you know what? I'm gonna be completely biased. I'm gonna go Wells as number 1, even though he's getting friend zoned, but he had a good week. I'm gonna go Jordan as number 2 because you can't drop him that much, even though he didn't make as much noise. It's still Jordan. And Luke, I mean, he still had the kiss. That was basically sex on TV. It'll work out.
They didn't. No, yeah, they had sex. So I'm going Luke number 1 because of Jordan's gay little dance. Jordan down to number 2 number 1 last week, and Wells in the third. My favorite characters would be Chad is number 1, Daniel, and Evan, the sperm dude.
Boner Doctor Evan. I mean, I don't like him one bit, but like I respect that he's still there.
He's horrible. But yeah. All right. Well, hopefully that thing in the beginning worked.
Yeah. We'll see. If not, I mean, yeah.
Keep listening. We'll tweet it out, retweet it if you like it. I think 2 people listened last week, so. We had interest from another person, an old Wet Stuff Dog podcast person who'd like to come on. We didn't respond to his text. Thought that was a little rude, but we'll see what we can do about it. But yeah, keep listening. Any last words, Kyle?
We'll see you guys next week, and remember to comment, and we will, of course, answer all your questions, comments, and concerns.
Is there any way to put next week on the Bachelor Party at the end here, like clips from next week's episode?
Okay, is it just you with bloody knuckles?
We'll figure it out.
Yep.
All right. Remember, don't be a bad protein shake. If you're mixing in all your protein, make sure that you're an effective one.
Sperm and things. Who knows?
Yes. All right.